How you out at linebacker right now, specifically with maybe more backups? I mean, we know a lot about Sori and Dix, but the younger guys.
Yeah, I think like Brad Shaw, I think Shaw is a good football player for us. I see him as one of the starters as well. White is going through a little hamstring, and being able to get him back out there, it's been awesome to kind of evaluate him and Justin Logan. And so seeing the guys get the reps and seeing the guys get better is kind of what I'm looking at. Again, knowing what Xavier and Steven, knowing what they can do, and also bringing Brad Shaw along. Like I said, I consider him as a starter as well.
Where's Tavion at right now?
Tavion's running with the twos. I'm glad we got him. He's doing some really good stuff for us. It's always good to watch the high school guys go through spring ball, because once the summer starts, it's almost like they've been here a year because of spring ball. So it's good to get them out there learning the system and seeing them move around. And I mean, he looks like a SEC linebacker. He has the size and the length that you're looking for, and very smart kid, great kid off the field as well. So very, very, very pleased with him.
I want to ask you a question that I get asked a lot, but the money and the MAC. And I asked you about it last time. You said they're pretty much the same.
Right. Yes, sir.
But one guy's going out as the money, and one guy's going out in the MAC. So I'm just wondering, like, who's where, and there's got to be some kind of specific reason that you would have Dix at one and Sawyer at another.
Well, Steven is our interior inside linebacker. There's times where he's going to be flexed out and different things like that from what offensive schemes gives us. So we usually go field boundary, but then now we're doing some stuff where now we're matching the money back or where the tight end is at, different things like that. So it just depends on the scheme. But you want Steven in the middle, quarterback in the defense, and then you want Sori outside. You can blitz with him, do some different things with him. So, but if you could draw it up perfectly, you could get guys that could just both of y'all play the same position no matter where the ball at. Both of guys can kind of rotate different sides. That type of deal.
So Steven is the MAC or the money?
He's the MAC. He's the MAC. Mm-hmm.
Coach Pittman has talked a lot about some of the depth concerns just in terms of sheer numbers in the secondary and on the defensive line. How has that kind of gone this spring numbers-wise, and, what's your read on the depth for those two groups?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you start out, you go out there, we don't have the depth that we would have in the spring. And then for us defensively, like I talked to the staff, we football coaches. So you could complain about the depth, or you can coach football and get guys better. So we just been focusing on, okay, who's out there? Let's get them better, and you can see the defense is getting better as a whole. We got guys that's out with injuries and different things like that. So, man, if you're a football coach, man, coach football. Don't complain. It is what it is. At the end of the day, nobody cares anyway. So, so defensively, like I talked to the staff, let's go out there and let's just coach. Let's coach to see if they can get better, and they actually has gotten better. Now we have to go get some more pieces and different things like that, but very pleased with just the growth of the defense overall.
We've seen and heard a little bit about Selman Bridges and just kind of the strides he's making as a younger guy. What have you seen out of him in the secondary?
You know what, seeing growth, because he's still a freshman. He's a guy that was a freshman last year season, right? And we're still in his freshman year of college. So just seeing him going through his second spring ball and just seeing the growth, seeing him being developed, seeing him taking coaching and taking his game to another level. And that's a good thing. All of our guys that's been here that are freshmen, they cannot be the same as if when they first got here. So just to see the growth is a good thing, to see him growing.
We've seen a lot of the safeties rotating. I think you've had like every one of them, Miguel, Larry, and Caleb playing at the hog or different spots of the safety. What have you seen from them, and is that something where you're trying to figure out their best spot, or could, when we get to the season, have that like a healthy rotation among those three spots based on situation and stuff?
A little of both. I mean, first of all, starting with those three guys, you see leadership. Those guys have really grown into the leadership role, and when they speak, the guys listen. They lead by example as well. I think it's a little both of kind of seeing the more you can do, the more value you can bring to the defense, and some of it is also depth. Right, so you got to go out there with 11. So we got to figure out pieces and different things like that. So some of it is figuring out what they can do. Another part of it is the depth part of it, where okay, we have to go out there with 11 guys. So putting guys in positions where they probably wouldn't usually be, but then you look up and like, man, you know what, he can play this position. So it's really been good. It's really been good. You see Larry, Miguel, Caleb, all those guys playing different positions. It's really been good for us to see on film what they can do if something happens in the season where they have to play these different positions.
What's the biggest thing you're looking for from your defense in the scrimmage on Saturday? Anything in particular that you're really going to be watching for?
Get better. So I hold it, and I know you like get better. What in the world? Every day I go in there and I tell them, man, let's get better. We play our first game in September. So spring ball is okay. Running, blocking, tackling. I want them to run to the ball like their life depended on it. And when they hit people, make sure they go backwards and get them on the ground. So those fundamental things. If they run a power or a counter, let's fit it up right. If you're getting over routes, you're getting different route schemes and let's cover it up. Like, let's get better at the small things of getting better as far as the defense. I'm sure it's the same thing offensively. Yes, we want to compete and we want to do well, but let's leave spring ball and say, okay, when you have the cut-ups, we got 100 reps of playing the power. We got 100 reps of playing the counter, zone read, the mesh route, whatever it is, and then you start looking it up. It's okay, this is the type of defense we're going to be. This is, because right now we don't know. We're going to be 4 down, 3 high. We really don't know, so we're putting it all together. Then once we get those pieces, this is what we're going to be. But I want to see them go out there, man, and play like their life depending on it and play like their hair is on fire and tackle well and be healthy. We'll tackle well, so.
One more, just based off what you just said about not necessarily knowing what type of defense you're going to be. Is that a new thing this spring, just based off all the turnover? Is that something you've dealt with in previous years here at Arkansas, or is it maybe a little extra this season, not knowing your identity just yet?
I think it's year to year. So you go in and you say, okay, as a defensive coordinator, we're 4 down, we're going to be attacking, we want to rush the passer, and then you got to, okay, like last year, I know like 3 high that's not in my background, right? We play Tennessee, and then, boom, it pops up, right? And then you go out, and then you play Texas, and it pops like, whatever we got to do to win the game. It's not like Travis Williams could be stubborn and say, hey, we're this, and we did. Okay, well, can we stop this particular offense with this particular scheme? So just trying to be multiple as possible and giving our guys a chance to be successful on the field.
Speaking of adding numbers, I guess this is your 3rd season here, and I guess we always hear about like crazy numbers on the offensive side in terms of NIL and all the movement. How's recruiting maybe changed on the defensive side, just specifically since you've been here?
I think it's all over the country. It's the NIL changes things as far as, the kids are asking for money, and if you have it, you have it. You don't, and that's just kind of the landscape of college football. Big people cost a lot, so if you're gonna get big people, it's gonna cost you some money. And it's just like the NFL. If you watch the NFL draft, they're gonna go get a quarterback, and they're gonna get a pass rusher. They're gonna get somebody that can protect the quarterback. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same model. It's the same thing for college football. You're gonna have to protect the quarterback. You're gonna have to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance, right? So if you're gonna protect the quarterback, you got to get somebody that can get to the quarterback. So wherever all these teams are spending money, whether if it's a left or right tackle, you better have a defensive end. You better have a quarterback. Oh, they throwing the ball. You better have somebody that could cover. So I think the game is okay. Where's the money spent? The money spent on the offensive tackle, they doing that for a reason. Well, you better have somebody to go get the quarterback. So it's kind of it's not even counted. It is the NFL model, so to speak.
And then, getting Xavier back, already the leading tackler from last year, just where have you seen his biggest development than maybe when you first came here?
Man, he's just understanding the scheme. It's just his knowledge of knowing what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And, he's asking questions. And not only is he asking questions, he's actually, like, helping the younger players on the scheme that we have, which is always good. So you're seeing that growth. And we have that conversation a lot, like, I just tell them, like, this time next year, like, you're going to be in these rooms and these GMs and these coaches going to be asking you these questions. So let's draw it up. Let's talk through it. And he's become, like, just a student of the game. He's in my office all the time. Okay, Coach, let's draw this up. Coach, when you call this, what are you thinking? So he's kind of getting in my mind a little bit on why we call things in different situations, which is awesome.
Coach, have you had any interactions with Remy Cofield at all? Like, have you met him, or kind of how's
I've met him in the hallway and had a phone conversation with him. I'm glad we got him. Great guy. Think he's gonna do well for us.
And then Brad Shaw, I saw him on Tuesday. Y'all went to 3-3 and the fastball starts. He looked like he's kind of lined up as an edge rusher. I think Brad Smith did a little bit of that last year. Has he got a similar type skill set as him?
Both guys are very athletic. what we're really trying to do, to be honest with you, is okay. When you look at it, you rank your 11 guys. If Brad Shaw is one of your 11, he can't be on the sideline with me. So he should be on the field. So we're just trying to figure out our way to get the best 11 on the field in different schemes. He does have pass rush ability. He's very, very smart. So he'll play the MAC, the money, the penny. He can edge rush. He can do different things. Now, from my seat, I got to be careful not to give him too much because he is so smart. And sometimes it could kind of slow a guy down because he's like that toy that you will like because he knows everything. He's really smart. But I have to be careful myself, not asking him to do too much. But yeah, he's a guy that we got to get him on the field.
And then, is there somebody on the defensive side who's flying under the radar, caught your attention? Maybe some guy that can, sneak up.
You know what? I would answer your question about 5 years ago and tell you, but with the portal, I don't know if I should even answer that. Flying under the radar, it may sneak up. Everybody on defense. Be honest with you, I won't say a name, but you can see everybody to the man. Everybody is getting better defensively, and I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but some guys are not having spring games. I'm gonna do that here and not say a name and say everybody's doing well. How about that?
It seemed like there were some guys banged up in the secondary. What are sort of any notable injury updates that you have on guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then guys on the offensive side and defensive side have been jawing at each other. Not the most uncommon thing in the world. Things are competitive, but just what's your impression of that?
Of them jawing?
Yeah, just kind of exchanging words in the last few practices.
I don't mind them talking. I don't mind them talking. Long as it's like let me say this, we want them to talk to your teammate in the heat of the battle. Even when I play, right? I'm gonna tell you, when it's hot out there, and the whistle blowing, the guy leaning on you a little bit. Oh man, get your hands off me. That's how stuff happens. But it's nothing, man. It's football, man.
And it seems like whenever the defensive guys make a really good play, that everybody on the sideline is really, really loud. Everybody celebrates it. Is that unique to this year's group? Is that something that you always see in the spring balls that you've been in?
I think the energy. No, that's not unique. That's just teams gonna celebrate. They happy for their teammates. Teammates make a play. I'm jumping around. I'm happy. That's just who I am. I'm a passionate person. I'm so happy for. If a Razorback make a play, I am happy because I see the hard work they do during the week. If an offensive player catch a touchdown or defensive player make a play, Travis Williams is definitely going to be high-fiving and happy. So I'm like that parent on the sideline.
Coach, I would ask you about 2 or 3 players that was here last year, maybe didn't play that much, some maybe at all. Quincy Rhodes, Charlie Collins, and Selman Bridges.
All
Are
three
they coming along?
All three, yes, all three are getting better. All three are coming along. All 3 guys will help us next year. Very, very pleased with all 3 guys.
Singletary, is he making strides?
He's doing well as well. He's having a really good spring for us as well. And he's taking the bull by the horn of just coming up, meeting with Coach Perry, and he's seeing it. He's an older guy now, so the time is now for him, and he's really, really been locked in the spring.
Caleb Wooden is a player that mentioned you a lot in the recruiting process. He knew you, and how's he coming along? I know early on he was getting interceptions and stuff. Is he still progressing pretty well?
He's doing some really good stuff for us. A smart football player. I'm glad we got him. He's a guy that understands football and is doing some really good stuff for us as well.
I wanted to ask you about Keyshawn Davila. It seems like he's playing really, really well. Makes a lot of pass breakups and stuff. I think you tried him a little bit at the Hog, but I think maybe got away from that. But what are your thoughts about him? Just his overall.
I like him. No, he's doing good, man. He's a guy that he can run. He's athletic. We trying him at different positions. He is still getting some hog reps on some third down stuff, some stuff that we're doing, and he's a guy that's progressing. He's come from junior college, so he has a skill set. He's just learning the speed of our game in the SEC and learning the playbook, but he definitely has the talent that you're looking for.
Is there a guy, I don't guess Salih's been here a year. I think he was an April guy last year. But is there a guy that's improved as much for you as him?
Everybody on defense. They're doing a really good job improving. The coaches, Coach Adams is doing a good job coaching the defensive line, and Coach Perry is doing a good job coaching the corners, and Coach Wood with the safeties. And I don't know who the linebacker coach is, but they're getting better as well. Everyone on defense is getting better.
Okay, I'm going to flip it for you then. You guys need your numbers at some spots. You just for that alone on defense. But where have you kind of identified where you need help, whether it's depth or you need a starter or something like that on defense?
We'll know more after the scrimmage. Like obviously we have practices that we got some tape that we can see guys do practices, but it's nothing like watching a guy tackle and run to the ball. And we've done some live stuff as well, but and then the spring game will let us know. But we know a certain number that we're looking for, and Coach Pittman is giving the defense a certain number to go get, and we're definitely going to use that number to go get them.
You mentioned Nick Perry. We've talked to Coach Pittman about him a little bit since he got here, but what do you feel like he's added to the staff?
It's really been good, just that NFL background, just being in those NFL rooms. What's unique about Coach Perry is he's been on the offensive side as an offensive coach, when he was with the Falcons, and obviously he's a defensive background. He's coached defensive backs with the Seahawks, but getting that other view from the other side of being on the offensive side. So he's really been good for us, just seeing what offenses are seeing and different things like that. Very sharp coach, very, very good coach as far as being in the room with the kids. And then, when you're hiring a guy, it's all about the right mix. So, like, even with hiring, when I'm talking to Coach Pittman about different candidates, I like to take my time because I just don't want to just get a guy and it's not a right fix and not the right mixture for our room. So I do think a culture of your room is very, very important, and I think we hit a home run with him.
Sam admitted, confirmed, basically, you guys recruited J.J. Shelton as a linebacker, but he's playing a lot of hog for you. I'm wondering what about him made that transition a good move for you guys, and how early were you able to kind of identify that could be a good position for him?
I think a lot of it, to be honest with you, naturally is because just the numbers. And then, it was like, okay, he's athletic enough to put him out there. And he's been doing good. He can play linebacker. He can play the nickel. When he's out there, we're in the 4-3. He's that Sam linebacker. He's another freshman that's coming along, and he'll be a lot better this summer once we install the defense again going into fall camp. Because now this will be like his third time hearing it because he heard it in January. And he's hearing it now, and he's going to hear it in fall camp. So looking for him to continue to grow. But very pleased with him. I'm glad we got him.
I'm curious about what your discussions have been like with Quincy Rhodes, because obviously Landon Jackson leaves. I mean, he's kind of stepping into that role of the number one defensive end. That's a big role to step into. Are you talking about that pressure with him, or just letting him kind of go and not really worry about Landon and the past performances there?
I don't see it as pressure. I mean, we play football, so he's talented enough. He has the right attitude. Landon is landing on his, Landon going to play on Sundays, and Lord willing, Quincy will as well. I think Quincy got to be the best version of himself. I think anytime, man, you try to be someone else or you just rob the gift that the good Lord gave you. Man, be yourself. I can only be T. Will. He can only be Quincy. Landon can be Landon. So you just try not to be someone else. The pressure to try to be, man, go play football. And then every mistake he make belongs to me as the coach itself, his effort and stupid penalties. If he don't do right on the play, I didn't coach it right. So now it takes all the pressure off of him and just go, So looking for him to continue to grow. He's having a good spring for us as well.
Coach, I know you're focused on your side of the ball, but I'm wondering throughout practice, have you noticed anything from Talon? Could you tell this is his second year in Coach Petrino's system?
I got so much stuff going on defensively. But I tell you this, you notice him. I mean, he's throwing it. He can run it. He's a great human being, on and off the field. And I'm glad he's a Razorback.
And when Tavion committed to y'all, I remember you posted a video on Twitter celebrating and everything. It came to a surprise to most of us, but when did you know that you were going to get him? When did you know you had him wrapped up?
I think that day. That day, I when you do that, a kid will say he'd come, and then I don't know if he told another coach that, so I'm watching just to make sure. And he said he's a Razorback, so I'm happy about that.
And then one more, Trey mentioned him, Danny Saili. Just where has he improved? Like what do you like about him, and where has he made strides from last year?
You know what? Just the game is slowing down for him, and just him listening to Coach Adams and the coaching that Coach Adams is giving him, and you can see he's getting better. You can see Ian Griffard getting better, and Quincy and Charlie, the whole defensive line. But very pleased with where Danny is at.